Before I start my video today, I have to tell you that Happy Easter for all of you. And I wish you a wonderful day you spend together with your families, your friends, and everyone you love all over the world. This video today, I will talk about, or I will explain to you the Easter and what was exactly our performance. I mean, the Easter dance performance in Egypt since long time and how it's changed throughout the history until now. So this is exactly the main point of our video for today. The first one wrote about it or about the Easter dance performance. This celebration was Herodotus, and he wrote a lot, or he explained a lot in his book, The Description of Egypt, about Egyptians when they were celebrating exactly, or how they celebrated exactly by this way of dancing and what they doing in the streets, or women and men and so on, so on, so on. Exactly, he wrote about women. They gathered in the early morning, move around the streets and play with a special type of toy, which it is a male toy. Each one of them has this male toy and play with it in a very funny way. And of course, they wake all of their friends up to meet together and celebrating this feast in the streets. In the Egyptian mythology, ancient Egyptian mythology, there is a story about this type of celebration, or this the celebration of this day by the goddess, what you know her, or we call her Bestet. By the way, when I say goddess, something in my mind say that it is not goddess, because in ancient Egyptians they were calling her, or calling this things netro. Netro, it means angel, an angel, not God, angel. So, and by the way, in netr, it means single angel, netr. And for the plural, it is netro, which it is difficult little bit even for us to this word. But anyway, she was a netr in this time, Bestet, and she celebrating with the people in the cities or in the streets, if we say something like this. How it was? It was by she moved by her boat on the Nile River, and when she found or look at people on the shore of the Nile, she stand up with her rattle, and this rattle, it was type of musical instruments in this time long ago, and she play with this rattle like this way to make a sound, or to make loud sound, and of course people on the other side has to answering her with the same way. So it was like this way long ago, and then she moved straight forward until the next city or the next group she will meet, and so on and so on and so on until the end of the day. This is the Bestet. If people didn't answering her immediately, she jump on the water and run quickly to them, or going to them, eat them. Like that. So they were scared, of course, so they has to answering her by the same way. This is exactly the first, let me say, movements they were doing in this time long ago. If you think or try to imagine exactly when I have the rattle in my hand like this way, and I do something like this very fast, immediately my body will shaking, which it means exactly all my whole body will shaking. And exactly this is one of the main points which can let us think how the shimmy began in Egypt. Of course, we have another, or I have another theory about the shimmy long ago, and how it is begun in Egypt or appeared in Egypt, which maybe one day I will explain to you much more about it in one of my videos. But this is exactly the way in this time long ago, which very close, yes, also to let the body shaking by this way, and made this type of movements. And of course, on the other side, people, I mean Egyptians, doing the same with her or answering her with the same way. So this is the mythology in Egypt, which I hope you like it. Yes, of course. And Bestet, of course, all of us, we know she came from the west side of Egypt, which it is, or it has another story. Maybe one day I will explain you much more about it. Yes, also. This is exactly was wonderful. After evening, in the evening, they began to celebrate by kill some type of animals, the pigs, or let me say the baby pigs, exactly, they cut it or kill it in the evening. Must be 7 pigs. They kill it in the evening, each family, to celebrate this feast. It is something like that. I will not go inside the mythology of or the meaning of this way and why they do something like this, as much as I'm looking now for dancing exactly, and why and how they were doing something like this. This is exactly the way of them in this time long ago, what Herodotus wrote about them in his book. And of course, he wrote something about some people jumping over fire. This is very important point, yes, also. Jumping over fire during the day. Men jumping over fire during the day. We say that, or they said that, or he also explained something like this, but not very clear. We clean our bodies from the winter time to be good for the summertime, something like this way. And of course, it is something we call it also, we clean our bodies from the fleas or from the bugs. Which it was famous, of course, very famous long ago with the farmers in Egypt, everywhere, all over the world, and because it is the same also in the Celtic civilization in England. They were doing the same, yes, also in this time of the year, or when they going to celebrate this feast, I mean the Easter feast, long ago, they were jumping over fire because of the same way or the same meaning, yes, also. And to see, or they play it, same as here in Egypt, they play or they do this play as a game, which one can jump over long fire without burning himself or without drop down in the fire. It was something like this long ago, and also was here in Egypt. By the way, this phenomenon is still the same until now. You can find many places or many cities in Delta, their men is still doing the same way or the same game, especially in this date. But what about dancing? Actually, dancing, it is very close to farmer dance. After we finished our working in the fields and we sold our vegetables or fruits or whatever, now we have our money, so we're going to dance or we're going to celebrate this day. It was something like this, yes, also since long time until now. So it is type of farmer dance, men dancing with women or women with men, no problem in this, because this was in Egypt long ago and until now. They dancing together, but not exactly together as couples as much as a group together. And of course, sometimes they creating or they doing also wedding parties, held wedding parties and doing this celebration, yes, also after this day, not the same day, after this day of the feast, I mean the Easter feast. So this is another celebration or another party, very important party we are doing every year like this way, I mean in the Delta or in the farmer areas in Egypt. I think yes, also was all over the world, the farmer places or the farmer countrysides all over the world. This is exactly the way of them, and this is exactly also the meaning of this type of dancing, farmer dancing. As you know, we have only read a troupe who they created farmer dancing in this way of dance. I mean the way of funny way, farmer dancing, but in our life, I mean folk dance, actually it is not the same, but the way of a little bit funny way, something like this way, but not same as from the beginning until the end, funny movements or funny way, same as Reda troop. So in farmer dancing, either a woman stand up in the front of her friends or her family began to dance or do some dance steps to let them feel happy, and then the second one, the third one, and so on and so on. The same also with men. Sometimes they doing the same. They play with their tools sometimes to make some funny points or funny movements for them, something like that. In the evening, the family, men and women together, sit together, and they do something, yes, also together. So in the morning, men alone and women alone, I mean separates, not together, and in the evening all of them together dancing or doing something like this. Oh, of course, yes, also they eat together and drink and do a lot of things, same as a party all over the world. So this is exactly what the main point for the Easter dance, what I told you about it, farmer dance, what I want to explain to you. And this was my video for today. If you have any comments or any questions, please write me down and I will be waiting for your questions if you have any of them. Thank you very much and see you in my next video.